welcome to Healthy Backs Yoga. So our starting position, we're going to sit on 2 blocks stacked the long way between the heels. And then we're sitting in Vajrasana. So the feet are back. We want to make ourselves comfortable in this starting position because we're setting up our skeleton. So you can take a gentle butt pull, one hand under sit bone flash, draw back and wide, and on the other side, back and wide. So we start with an anteverted pelvis. The pubic bone is slightly pressing forward and down to the blocks so that we have that sacral tilt. The rest of the vertebrae are stacking above it. Right, L5S1 is where we want to feel that gentle mobility, that gentle curve. And then so we're keeping the anteverted pelvis. So that's one movement. You want that nice and stable. And then the next piece is the anchored rib cage. So the front ribs drop, the back ribs lift a little bit, creating space in the lower back, and it starts to activate your core, your inner corset. Just some of those fibers start to fire up. It's also called turning on your power button, where there's this bone, the xiphoid process at the base of the breastbone, and that's pressing back to your spine so that you get lots of lift. And then the next piece, you're going to roll one shoulder, inhale forward and up, a lot back and relax down. Left shoulder forward, up, a lot back, relax it down so that the shoulders are posteriorly placed on the back. And then the gooseneck, chin forward, chin to throat. Take a couple of those. So the chin is slightly angled down. We have lots of length along the back of the neck. And you can feel as if you're pressing into a heavy weight, like the people used to in pre-industrialized times in more rural communities where they would hold those heavy weights and it would keep that alignment nice and stable and strong and keep all those muscles along the spinal column, the erectors, the paraspinals, the multifidus, nice and strong. So the difference between the Healthy Backs Yoga and regular yoga is that we're holding the optimal alignment of the spine so that we get the most amount of space between each vertebra throughout the practice, so that we can heal some of the habits that we might bring throughout our daily lives. We might be moving through our lives in a forward bend most of the time. We might be moving through our lives in a back bend most of the time. Either way, we're creating some compression. So within the yoga practice, with the Healthy Backs Yoga, we're creating lots of space. And that is our priority, to maintain that integrity throughout the practice. So keeping that rib anchored, we're going to get into the inner corset. So feel the belly start to lift. You're going to feel the rib cage roll over a rod, as if there's a rod placed right under the rib cage. And then you're going to reach up and over as if reaching to a high shelf. And then take the other arm. So you feel nice and strong in your inner corset. You're starting to get some nice extension in your spine. And then link your thumbs, lift your fingers, and take a gentle sway side to side. So you're growing nice and long, getting a little bit of mobility. And then exhale, take a big arm circle around, interlace the hands behind you. As we draw the shoulder blades onto the back to avoid the popping up of the front ribs, drop them down, drop the chin, shoulder blades deep onto the back, and begin to roll your head in one direction. Breathe and roll the other way. And then come to a neutral position, tall spine. So as we transition again, really aligning with that nice straight spine, coming into Yoga Mudra. You're going to lift your hips, tuck your chin, come onto the crown of the head, and lift your arms up, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And you're going to take your hands down and come onto hands and knees. And take our blocks over to the side. So on hands and knees, let's start with wrists under shoulders and knees together under hips. So we want to feel the lift of the belly to avoid any sway back. We're going to create what's called rotational stress. So anytime we extend one leg and the opposite arm, or even both arms in the opposite direction, we start to activate and strengthen the muscles along the spine. We strengthen and we lengthen. So on hands and knees, nice and stable in the belly. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Keep that solid core. Flex your right leg. As you extend it back, you'll feel your right glute nice and strong. So keeping your hips nice and even. Gaze is straight down, so you lengthen through the neck, through the crown, as you reach the left arm forward. And breathe. And exhale, take it down, and we'll switch sides. Again, lift the belly, extend the left leg, and reach the right. So that left glute is nice and fired up to take any pressure out of the spine. And exhale, and take it down. So, really honor where you're at. Take the transition slow. If you want to use block to transition, we're going to come up into a high squat. So taking your feet as wide as the mat, the toes angled out on the floor, the heels on the mat. So you have the anteverted pelvis. We're hinging at the hip joint. This is where we're meant to bend, at the hip joint, not through the center of the spine. So if you look at ancient cultures, this is how they're doing their work. When they're working, they're sowing the fields like this. They're maintaining that strength. And they have very little back, hip, knee problems like we have developed in more industrialized cultures. So reaching the arms forward. Draw the knees back from the toes. Lengthen your tailbone back, growing super long in your squat. And then exhale, hip hinge. You might touch the floor, you might not. Priority again is a straight spine. Inhale, squat. Exhale and stand. Inhale, squat. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, squat. Exhale, stand. One more. Inhale, squat. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, squat. Exhale and stand. Take a pause. You might roll out the shoulders, smooth it out, the neck. So anytime we're bending, picking something up, just being really aware to hinge at the hip joint. And we'll just take the blocks over to the side. So we're going to come into healthy backs Tadasana. So it's different than Tadasana for classical yoga. We'll start with feet hip width. Our hips are right here. Taking our feet parallel to each other to start. And then we're going to kidney bean shape the feet. So lifting one heel. The ball of the foot and the toes stay steady. And you're going to coil the heel slightly in. So the foot takes on that kidney bean shape. And it lifts that inner arch a bit. And then doing that with the other side. Lift the heel. Coil in. So now the toes are angling out about 10 degrees, which is what we want. So the knees also are slightly externally rotated, as are the legs. Creates a little more space for the pelvis to sit comfortably. The next piece after our kidney bean feet is to soften. So we want to relax into that anteverted pelvis. So we're not sticking our butts back, but we want to relax it down. So you have that natural sacral tilt, and we want our butts behind us instead of under us. So you have soft knees, soft groin, and then come to standing right before the knees lock. And then engage your rib anchor, creating more space, start to fill into the belly. And then again, one shoulder forward up, a lot back, relax down. And the other forward up, a lot back. And relax down. And then the goose neck, so you're nice and tall. And breathe. So we're going to go through a namaskar, a sun salute for healthy back. So there's modifications and differences. So keeping the rib anchor anytime we reach our arms up. So inhale, reach up, feel the core. On your exhale, downhill skier, very much like chair pose, but we're reaching our arms back. The knees are coming away from the toes. The weight is in the heels. Tailbone is reaching back. Lots of length through the back of the neck. And then inhale to chair. Exhale, skier. Inhale as you rise again, rib anchor to lift. Exhale, hands to heart. So that's our half version. Let's do that one more time. Inhale it up. Exhale, skier. Inhale, chair. Exhale, skier. Inhale, rib anchor. So we're not back bending. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take a full version. Inhale, rib anchor strong. Exhale, skier. Inhale, chair. Exhale, you're going to lift your right foot, step it back. Leaning forward, rest your hands on that left knee to stabilize. We want the left knee over the ankle or behind it. We just want to make sure it's not in front of it. So we're going to keep this angle of the torso. Again, if we had that nice mobility at L5S1, which I know I am lacking, we want to feel the extension of the spine instead of compression. So leaning slightly forward, engage the belly, so feel the lift, the ribs are rolling over around, reach up and over, reach up and over, and hold. You can turn your palms facing each other. It's getting the nice long line of the spine and the core super strong. Slowly take it down to bent knee, down dog. So down dog, bend those knees, priority being the long, straight spine. We're going to take froggies. So kiss your heels together. Frog to a plank. But avoid engaging your bum and flattening yourself out. Have a little booty, a little bend in the knees. Shoulders over wrist. Frog to plank. Frog. Plank, two more. Frog. Plank, last one. Frog. Plank. Bend knee, down dog. Hug your right knee in. Step it forward. Maybe step it halfway. And then take it all the way. Start by taking your hands to the knee to set yourself up for your crescent pose. So you're angled forward. Feel your ribcage roll over the rod. Reach and reach. Feel the core, evening the hips. The right hip draws slightly back. And then we'll come into downhill skier. So step forward, reach back. Inhale, come to stand, rib anchor. And exhale, hands to heart. So that's all we'll cover for today. I'll be back with other healthy backs routines, healthy stretches, and lots of good info to be able to have fun while protecting and strengthening our spines. Namaste.